Thank you for joining me today for another devotion on the 7 words of Jesus from the cross. The word we're going to consider today is the word that he spoke to his mother Mary and to his disciple John. Dear woman, here is your son, and to his disciple, here is your mother. I'm Pastor Charles Degner, and I serve St. John's on the Hillside in Milwaukee, along with Pastor Michael Hintz. I want you to think today about the crowd that was there beneath the cross. It was an ugly crowd, a crowd that came for the most part to make sure that Jesus was going to die. There were the Roman soldiers there, callous soldiers who played dice for his clothing beneath the cross. There were the enemies of Jesus who hurled insults at him, and probably a lot of stragglers by that just came out to see the show. There were just a handful of friends. There were the women that came. One of them was Mary, his mother, and there was John, the disciple whom he loved. I wonder what was going through Mary's mind. I can't help but think that she remembered that day in the temple when Jesus was just 40 days old, when Simeon held Jesus in his arms and said, "Let your servant depart in peace, for my eyes have seen your salvation." And then Simeon turned to her and said that this child will be the rise and fall of many in Israel, and a sign to be spoken against, and a sword will pierce your own soul as well. Now she knew what he meant, that a sword would pierce her soul too. And there was the sign that was spoken against, the cross. Because in many parts of the world still today, that's a sign that's not accepted. You can't wear a cross. You can't display a cross in your church in many parts in the world today. But what we want to focus on today especially is Jesus. Can you imagine the pain that racked his body on the cross? You would think that somebody who was going through so much pain would have tried to block out everything else. When my wife was having children, she would try to block out the labor pains by going into her zone and just blocking everything else out in the room. She wanted me there, but she didn't want me to say anything. She just wanted to block out that pain. But when Jesus was enduring such pain on the cross, he didn't block out the people around him. He saw his enemies, and we learned that he prayed, "Father, forgive them." He saw the thief on the cross and welcomed him into heaven. And then he looks down beneath at his feet and he sees his mother crying. And he provides for her when he would be gone. And so he turns to Mary and says, "Dear woman, here is your son." And to John, "Here is your mother." He gave John the responsibility to take care of his mother, a responsibility he would have had as the oldest son. Why is this lesson important? It's important because Jesus shows us that right up to the very end, he kept every single one of God's commandments. You see, when we're enduring stress or pain, or when we're just busy in our lives, we become so focused on ourselves that we block out the needs of others. We can walk out the door, see the neighbor across the street, but not really see him or give him a smile or even a wave. Sometimes we can pass people in our own family by and not even see the needs in their eyes. A husband looks for the attention of his wife. Children beg for the attention of their father. But we live in a busy world, a self-focused world, a world in which we spend way too much time thinking about ourselves. Jesus did not. He always thought of others, and even here on the cross, he thought about his mother. There was something he said in the Sermon on the Mount. He said he did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill the law, literally to fill it up, to keep it entirely. And he didn't do that for himself. He did that for you and for me. And that means that when we step before God on the last day, if God were to say, "Did you keep my commandments?" we can say, "No, but Jesus kept every one of those commandments for me." That's a lesson we can learn from this third word from the cross, when Jesus said to his mother, "Dear woman, here is your son," and to his disciple, "Here is your mother." God bless your Lenten meditations this week, and especially this Holy Week as we focus on the words of Jesus. And if you enjoyed this meditation today, hit the like button below, make a comment, and encourage your Christian friends and neighbors.